All right. Just want to make sure your name is pronounced Savant, right?
Savant.
All right. How are we doing, Mr. Moore?
Hey, I'm happy. It's a great day.
I think it's a great day too, especially because I get to talk to somebody about politics that we don't ever really talk about. To kind of give you background about why I wanted to talk to you, I drove by Bandera, and if anybody is from San Antonio, you know Bandera is just like covered with political signs. And I saw this guy running for a comptroller, and I'm like, I have never even heard of that. Are y'all making up offices? And then I just happened to go online. I think they were like, are there any black politicians? Are there any black people in legal stuff? And I was like, oh, who is this man who is in Texas and also running for comptroller? And that sounds like an important thing.
Right.
So I essentially wanted to kind of talk to you about like, what is a comptroller? What made you think to run for this? What's your background and stuff like that? So I think we should start with me getting to know you. Who is Savant Moore? What's your background? And also, how did you even get started in going for office?
Right. Well, first I want to shout out San Antonio. Two of my friends, they own the Jerk Shack. So if you love Caribbean food, it's the only Michelin star. We served in the army together. So salute to them. Also, a fun fact, my son graduated from Stevens. He played football there. And so I really thank that coach in that school for that. But who is Savon Moore? So I was born to a mother I still don't know. So at 4 days old, I went to foster care.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
lucky for me, two parents born in 1946 and 1945. They met each other at a HBCU called Paul Quinn. They ended up being teachers. And my dad, he became a pastor. My mom was the first black counselor at North Shore High School. They adopted me. They taught me about education so much that I graduated high school at 16 years old. Now, about 2 years, it was after 9/11, I joined the Army Reserve.
Is this me? Hold up.
For 7 years as an airborne ranger. From
Hold
there,
on.
well,
I think there's a little bit of a glitch after you said you joined the Army Reserve.
correct.
All right, go ahead. Pick up from Army Reserve.
All right, I joined the Army Reserve and then I went to Howard University. Unfortunately, my father had passed away, so I went active duty. I served 7 years infantry, was an airborne ranger. I still wanted my family to see me graduate. So I went back to Howard. 2016, I graduated. Barack Obama was my commencement speaker, history major. So like it was really nice. From there, I went to Boston. I learned how to code. And there I met a coworker. We started a business. We grew it over 7 states. And if I even backtrack, I've always had a business. I had a business in the army, a pizza shop. I've been investing since I was 17. At 11 years old, I was getting the Wall Street Journal sent to my house. COVID
Mm,
happened. I moved back home to Texas and I started a logistics company. So for the past 4 years, I've been all over Texas providing you with water, food, pipes from the port, my son asked me to go to a school board meeting. At that meeting, I got seven black and brown schools to get a magnet program, $20 million. Unfortunately, the state took over and they took away those programs. All my children are gifted and talented. I ran for office. I currently represent all of Northeast Houston on the largest school board, $2.5 billion budget. And I've been advocating from City Hall all the way to Austin, PUCT. You can see me with the megaphone at Austin. Like I've been that constituent. I go to literally everything. Now here we are. I'm running for comptroller. The reason I'm running for it, it is the fourth most powerful position in Texas that you don't even know about, and it controls your taxpaying dollars. It's the CFO of Texas, pays the bills, it also has all these programs that you could be using. They got the Promise Fund, which you could be using, putting money in so that your kid can have money when they go to college. But I want to educate people while I'm elected because a lot of people, they'll invest in a 401k, but they don't invest in the stock. And then you grow up 20 years and you be like, I didn't make no money from the stock market because you didn't purchase anything. So that's one thing. Also, there's this program called a HUB program where it was given the opportunity for black businesses, minority businesses, women businesses, veteran business have an opportunity for state contracts. In the last 20 years under Republican leadership, only 3% went to women, 1% to black, in the same low numbers. We got to change that. And unfortunately, the person that is the acting comptroller, Kelly Hancock, he removed the program. On day one, I want to restore it. And my goal is for every demographic to at least have 5%. I will be doing workshops throughout the year to teach you how to qualify for those state contracts. Because when we qualify and we become not only subcontractor, but primary contractor, who's the first person that you're going to hire? Someone that looks like you. Where's that money gonna go? Back into our community, which ultimately ends up back in the state. So everybody is winning. Another reason that I'm running for this office, I'm over broadband. It is sad to me that I go across this state, especially in rural communities, and they don't have no broadband. They already don't have no hospital under Republican leadership. It's almost 80 counties with no hospital, can't use Medicaid. At least with broadband, they can use telehealth, help them pay their bills, so on and so forth. So that's huge. My goal is for there to be free Wi-Fi within 2 miles of every school. We got the federal funds. Why aren't we using it? I also will be over Overwatch for the school vouchers. I'm a teacher. I teach sixth grade English. I see inside the classroom we don't have the resources, but I know only 42,000 people applied to use the school vouchers versus the 5 million children that use public education. A lot of people are doing pay to play politics. Abbott allowed a company, Odyssey, no bid contract, to get $50 million of our taxpaying dollars every year to overwatch the school voucher. You go to the country, there's some places the closest private school might be Lufkin, and it's only K through 8 or a daycare. It's not even a high school. The rural communities cannot use it when most times they top employer is who? The public school. The only person they can go to for their education is the public school. If we're 30, 60 miles from a hospital, sometimes even a Walmart, where are they going to go to that private school to use the vouchers? So I know that there are some Texans that want to use it. I'm gonna do my job with fidelity. You want to use it, I'm gonna do right. But I'm telling you, I'm looking for the exit clause for an out-of-state company that didn't have to bid for a contract to be taking our $50 million. I also want to prove with this budget that we can properly fund public ed. The main reason that I ran for this is because when you look at the numbers, why are we 42nd in the nation for public education? Why are we 49th for high school education? Why are we 47th for paying basic allotment per student? You compare to the number one state, Massachusetts, they're paying over 22,000 per student. We're a little bit over 6,000. That's a huge gap. But we have an economic stabilization fund of $28 billion. We can safely bring it down to 10 bill, put 15 billion into public ed. We're properly funded, and within 4 years, we can get the fund back up. So that's my main initiative to make sure that our future is properly funded. Our children deserve the best education, and currently they're not receiving it. And even more importantly, our teachers are being disrespected, not getting paid what they're supposed to be paid. They don't have the
Mm-hmm.
resources that they're supposed to have. We're in a classroom with gifted, special needs, emerging bilingual, all mixed in the same class. You're not able to give every child the resources and the attention that they deserve. That model is not working. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we're in last place. I also want to audit every single agency, including mine. A big thing that people got to remember when they vote for me, I'm not doing this job by myself. I will have 3,000 employees. I have the vision. Working class Democrat. I got my CDL logistics. I've been working with my hands, but because I'm on a school board, I realize a lot of times we look at everything from the macro. So that's why I play undercover boss to be in the classroom to see with my own eyes. Because you know,
Mm-hmm.
when you go to your job and the supervisors come and you know they're coming, you're on your best behavior. But it's different when you here in this classroom day in and day out. And so it's important that everyone comes and vote because this affects every single Texan because it's your tax-paying dollars. And then there's things that people don't even know about, unclaimed property. There's billions of money just sitting there. I'm over that. I'm also I don't like what ICE is doing, but this comptroller is over the sheriff immigration program. We
Mm,
should not be sending people that are benefiting our state away. But why did Mr. Abbott, our governor, put that in the comptroller office? Because you wouldn't be concerned about it. You wouldn't be thinking about it. So it's all these little things that are important for you to know. I also want to have my own advisory council of data scientists, economists, finance experts, but also people from the community. Someone that's from the rural community, someone that's from San Antonio, someone from all regions, so that you're in the room and you're not forgotten. Because oftentimes people just become numbers on a budget. We got to
mhm.
remember these are real names, real cities, and you're affecting people in real time.
Whoa, whoa. I gotta say that if I had a question, you answered it. And a lot of the things that you say align with a lot of values that I definitely promote. And the big thing is that these are like nonpartisan benefits. This is not caring about rural communities is something that I am very, very like that is a top issue for me just because I always feel like they don't have the information and knowing that a lot of them don't even have broadband to get the information,
Right,
that makes sense. And it's helpful for me for information dissemination that like if people can't see the info, they're susceptible to getting misinformed. And they don't even know they're misinformed because
right,
they don't have any other information. Another thing you talked about was doing workshops. And I feel like, especially in the Black, Brown, and immigrant community in general, I have worked with a lot of people on financial advice and helping them understand just the language of things because I worked in insurance
right,
and we deal a lot with money. And I'm always telling people, like, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what numbers mean until you don't know what numbers mean. And it's always a big, huge issue that brings to light that you don't know what you didn't know. And how can we, what are the workshops going to include information that's very pertinent to working class people? Because I know like stocks and everything like that. And a lot of people don't even have jobs that allow for 401ks. I know a lot of people in Texas are working class and working two, three jobs that are all part time. So you get no benefits. But are the some of those workshops going to be like, hey, here's how we can help you, save money and work with your money and work with your budget, and here are the terms that you need to learn, and kind of give them definitions for things, kind of a little
right,
similar to work that I do, which is informing people of like, hey, you need different, like I forgot what it's called, but it's like staggered accounts where you have different accounts so that you can get paid differently and stuff like that. But are you going to be informing them of stuff like that? Or is it, let me rephrase. A lot of financial advice tends to be about those larger, like, you need to invest in stocks, get in crypto, which can be very beneficial. But I found that with a lot of working class clients that I had, that it wasn't beneficial to them because they were just trying to pay their bills. So, will those workshops include advice for people like that? People such as myself, who used to also be more working class.
right. Yeah, I'm the only candidate that has a personal finance book. It's called Release of Debt. So I know what it's like to
Mm,
be in debt, pay it off. I had to do the Dave Ramsey. I've been investing. So we got to get back to the basics. Me, I will in my workshops have financial literacy. Just you know that 70% of people don't even have $400 emergency fund. If they
yeah.
lost all four tires, they don't have $100 for per used tire. So we got to get back to the basics of that. Also, like me being a minister, you see so many people that are GoFunding their funerals. They can afford life insurance if they knew about it. But it's like those basic things you have to educate people about because you're correct. Life is life, and they don't have it. I'm glad you brought about life and needing the education. I want to prove that our budget can bring up minimum wage. Why are we still paying $7.25 in 2026 in
Yes.
Texas?
Yeah.
The
I
cost
remember
of living going up.
my first job here when I moved here. I started off at 750 and then I got a raise to 795 and everybody was like, "Ooh."
Right.
look at you. That's a promotion. And I was cashing my little Walmart, my checks at Walmart because I didn't have a bank account. And they were like, ooh, Diane, that's a lot of money. You made $123 this week. And I'm looking back on it now, I'm like, how was I functioning with $123 a week at best? And I'm happy that we're going to be doing financial literacy. That's something that,
And just
and
take away those words like budget. Sometimes people don't want to hear that. Let's just have a money plan. Like plan for every dollar so that you are prepared for your future. We all know a birthday gonna come up. Hey, put a little to the side. You know,
mhm,
Valentine's Day this weekend, put money aside. You know, Christmas coming. We gotta be proactive. Like we gotta stop being reactive. Because why am I running? Because people that have been in Austin haven't been caring about us. So it's time for us as a community to care about ourselves so we can save ourselves. So that's why I'm doing that plan. And also want to add, got to think about like teachers with their retirement. We still don't have no COLA attached to their retirement system.
mm,
Cost of living is increasing every year. I
yeah,
know I'm young, I'm 40, but I remember when gas was 99 cents. Well, you see what the price is now. So you got
yeah,
to think about little stuff like that.
yeah. And I'm going to be honest, this is, for the viewers and stuff like that. I have an education background. My background is in education. However, when I moved to Texas, I realized that I worked retail and became a manager of like a print section. So I was working, and I realized that to be a teacher, I would be getting paid the same thing, but have way more work. And I was like, why would I become a teacher and essentially make almost the same exact pay as a manager at a retail store and have to deal with all the stuff that you said with the mixed demographics and all that kind of stuff? And I'm really the focus on education. Also, I just want to say I really want to commend you for doing the undercover boss thing where you're like, I don't want to just be talking about it. I want to know
Right.
what I'm saying and what I'm doing. You I'm very impressed. I wasn't expected to come in and just be blown away, but I can't imagine Texans hearing this and not realizing how just generally beneficial. Like me, as somebody who's into politics and stuff like that, I know that our money is going all over the place and that we're deporting people, but also bringing them back and then having them work somewhere else. And like, I know all these things, but it sounds like a conspiracy until you see the numbers,
Right.
until you figure out where the money is actually going. And I appreciate that part of your platform is transparency and being like, I want to audit my office, I want to audit everybody, and I want an advisory committee for myself. So that way we can learn and you can be held accountable for stuff that's going on. One of
Right.
the other things that I want to ask about, because in your background, I heard all the stuff about education, and I'm so happy. Shout out to Black people adopting Black kids. But I also wanted to talk about how can we, what is happening? Sorry, there's music. How can we as Black people and Black and brown community immigrants, where can we even go to get started learning about these offices? Because I feel like every time I go to vote, suddenly there's like 16 pages and I'm like, I swore I was just voting for three people. Who is a bursar? What is a this? Where did this come from? And I know what I do is I like to bring up amendments that people need to talk about. But even me, my blind spot was I have no idea who y'all are.
Right.
Where can we even go to learn all this stuff?
Well, we got to do the League of Women Voters, the Voter 411, but we also got to support creators like you that break it down. There's a lot of Black women creators that are breaking it down so that everyone in layman terms can't understand it because it will go over your head if you really don't have the time. Like that's why I really hate politics because if I go to Austin and want to wait at a committee to even speak, I gotta sign up at 9 in the morning, and you may not speak till 5, 6, 7 o'clock.
Hmm.
City Hall, 2 o'clock during the day. Commissioner Court, 10 a.m. during the day. And working class Democrats like myself, we are at work. You don't have time to do it. And so our resource is why people Now, she didn't tell me to say what I'm about to say, but sign up for her Patreon so you can get this information to know about these type of positions because they are very important, especially when it comes to your tax-paying dollars and you not knowing where it goes. And there's so many things that's important. Also, as constituents, make the time to show up at things. What hurts me most is when I don't see my community at the school board meeting. But the influent community, they're there, they advocate, and then you wonder why their neighborhood looks the way it does and they get everything because they're advocating. They're looking at our voting record, they're looking at how many of us show up. That's the power. Don't ever think that your vote doesn't matter, because it does. But when it's low turnout, they're not going to do nothing for you. And we have no excuse now. There's Google, there's ChatGPT, and there's Shades of Diane. You have the resources in 2026. So I'm an alpha. If you class D9, everybody knows this poem. Excuses are the tools of the incompetent, which build monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in them are seldom capable of anything else. It's no more excuses. We are all educated. We all have our cell phone and our computer. Use it, Google. And if all else fails, talk to someone like Diane so that you know, because on Tuesday, February 17th, we should
Hmm.
all be lined up to vote. Texas deserves more. But there's other positions from Senate all the way down to all those judges. They need to be voted for. It's a lot of positions that matter.
Yeah,
So
and
please go vote.
that's a one thing I really want to commend you on is that you're going for again a position that not really many people know about. And for what we don't realize and what I find every single time I vote is that a lot of people are uncontested. They're just going and going and going and going. And you're like, well, why isn't anybody running? Like, I forgot what his name is, but there is one guy, and he has been working in the records office in Bexar County for I don't know how long. Every time I vote, he's the only person there. And I swear that that man is, I've been here for 10 years. I think he's always been in office. And it's just because he keeps running uncontested. Because again, we don't even know who and where we don't know. And also, it is so hard to figure out how to even sign up to get involved, to get the who and the what. And I feel like getting somebody in office like you is the start of it. Because I worked with small business owners
Mm.
when I used to work in the print department, and I heard about the hub. I heard about small business loans and programs and grants. And you're right, I haven't heard about them since. I haven't
Right.
heard about them since I think 2020. Last time I heard about it, everybody was printing stuff out. Then boom, there was no nothing. And I, this gives me a lot of things to think about and a lot of things to talk about with people because I genuinely can't imagine, besides the fact that next to your name would be a parentheses D, that there's any reason for people not to vote for you. I will look into what the other candidate is running on, but I do recall being like, oh my God,
Mm. We have
I
to do
guess.
a better form of communicating from this office because everyone is not going to see the mail, go to the website. So I got to send SMSs. I got to still visit where you live and not just be stuck in Austin so that you can know the information. In every small business, you have to deal with the comptroller office. If you get that little letter, hey, you didn't pay your tax, even though you didn't have to pay the franchise tax, you see that letter and it's so outdated. I have to modernize this website. I got to modernize our communication because it is 2026. We got to move this office forward and we got to be a benefit to you to help you grow your business because majority of the businesses in Texas are small and medium. Those are the first people that are hiring people that are providing for families. But we got to remember that these owners still got to make a profit so they can provide for their own. So it's like
Yeah.
we all need each other. And I just want to be a public servant that remembers that you didn't pay that $300 for your LLC to fail. I got to help you succeed because you're going to help your community succeed.
Mm, mm. Savant, I don't even have that much more to say. I don't have that much more to ask you because you covered it all. I appreciate the community focus because people know I am very community minded. The whole reason I do what I do is because Black and brown and immigrant communities, the number one target of misinformation. And by
Right.
the time we get the real information, we're just like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Okay, yeah, now I didn't heard about this. What am I like? We always end up with the most misinformation, and then we find out so late that you feel helpless. And I feel like having somebody like you in office who is going, you said it, and this is something that I have an issue with a lot of politicians in Texas, is that they never come back. They leave and they get an office, and then I never see them again. And maybe there's a town hall meeting if something goes left, but after that, they gone. And so I appreciate that you're like, we got to get back into the community. And my experience working with small business owner and also working with the immigrant community is that don't tell Mr. Office Max this, but the store is gone. But when immigrants used to come in and try to get their papers done, because
Hmm.
I don't know if you've heard, the immigration process costs thousands of dollars. And the
Yeah.
paperwork alone costs a few hundred. So when people would come in, I would just be like, hey, you get your immigration papers free. Like, I'm not going to charge you to become a citizen. Then they come in and then they start working because they got their papers for free. They get to do all this stuff, starting families, going to schools, all that kind of stuff that gives back to the population. And I'm really intrigued to see where this is going to go when you get office, because I'm not I've been convinced. Again, I didn't know who the other dude was really. I just remember looking him up and being like, "What? Why do I care about you increasing the ICE budget? I don't care. I don't care. We almost couldn't afford to feed people in October, and we had to
Right.
do fundraising. I do not care about ICE. So thank you so
Because
much for this.
a 10-year-old shouldn't be coming to me in the classroom saying they are afraid of masked men and that they're afraid
Mm,
for their family and all they want is to just get the education. We shouldn't be living in this time. And the worst thing that think people aren't talking about, there's a lot of invisible masked men in Austin, in Washington, D.C., smiling in our face, but behind closed doors do everything in their power to make sure that we don't succeed in life. And that sucks. The Hispanic community does so much for us. Our roads, the homes that we live in, the food that we eat, they contribute daily. And yet there are people that are trying to remove their contribution to this. Me as a black person, you as a black person, we know it the best because they've been doing that for us for over 400 years. And I don't
yeah,
want to see any other culture being mistreated. And so my job is to represent all Texans because we are all Texans. If you're a black Texan, what is it in with? Texan. If you're a Hispanic Texan, Texan. If you're a white Texan, Texan. It does not matter. We got to remove all the isms and the titles and just go back to humanity and be in Austin. And if you had a public servant or a politician, you would want them to do the job for you. So why, when you go and raise your hand and you take your oath, you forgot that oath that you took. And so I always tell people, if I was willing to die for my country as a soldier, imagine what I would be willing to do for you in Austin. Like you didn't know my name when I was 17, but I was willing to die for you. And now that you know who I am today, remember that same person I was when I was 17, the same person right now is 40. And I'm going to do my job for you because you deserve it. Like I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. I want to see an Austin that does its job because my 40 years, I've been seeing people not doing their job. From my neighborhood not looking, not being improved to me driving throughout Texas. And I see two things. One is beautiful, right? But I also see neglect. Republican leadership has been neglecting their own constituents, and it has to stop now. So I hope
mm,
everyone, February 17th through the 27th, you go and vote. March 3rd, vote. And then you got to come back in October and November and vote again. Every single election after that. So we can get off of this hamster wheel and we can actually move forward.
all right. Thank you so much for that. Now, this is a little bit of a surprise portion of the interview. Is there any non-official, non-political thing that you would consider important that you think is like it's actually really that serious. It's really that serious that you want to just tell people about. It can be about the classroom, it can be a personal thing. I know one thing I talk about, my sister, she's a microbiologist, but one thing that she talks about that's really that serious is the fact that they don't use brass in music. And my thing is like, hey, we don't talk, there's no background singers in music. We need to bring back background singers. Is there any topic that kind of would maybe show us more about who you are and things that you're interested in outside the office that you're like, this is serious to me and I take this serious, but it is completely unrelated to what I do.
Well, I'll talk about me as a teacher. Let me show this real quick. I'm doing whatever it takes. I got everybody Valentine's things for my students to listen. I actually like to rap, so I freestyle with them in class to get them engaged. I buy them their Takis, but I share like my personality and like my history so they can know that I was just like you, normal. And so that's the same thing to constituents. I was that person, I didn't know how to sign up at a meeting. I was in my overalls. I gotta give her Miss Kathy Bluford Daniels her flowers. She allowed me to speak at the school board meeting, and from there I got involved. So that's what I want to share. Like, even if you don't know something, just show up. And whatever job that you're doing, be cool with your coworkers, be cool with these little kids, because it's important. You don't know what impact you're gonna make in someone's life. Like I just met you and you made an impact in my life, right? So we just gotta be impactful. Like that's I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, but I wake up every day happy. It's a peaceful day, and I just want to give the best of myself in what I do. So that's what I would share. Like always give your best.
Yeah, and also I love that you're doing that for the students because one of the I another thing that I talk about is mental health and in school it is the worst when you didn't get when other people got Valentines and I don't know if they still do the classroom Valentine thing, but you see your friends and they got other stuff and a teacher giving out some Valentines, we stand. We stand. Also, I'm very interested in the freestyling. We're gonna have to revisit that another time because I want to hear about this rapping and freestyling. When were you even doing that? When did you have time to do that with all this stuff going on?
Yeah, I just
Uh-oh.
I think you froze. Are you still
Yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, so
hold on. I can do 10 seconds so that you know it's off the dome. So right
okay,
now I'm on Shades of Diane trying to tell everybody about the comptroller office, but I need you to vote on February 17th because Texas deserves more. I done seen it from the Panhandle to East Texas, all the way to the border in the West. That's El Paso, but I'm really from Houston. I'm in the classroom right now. This interview can't last long because I got to teach these kids how to pass their STAR. But I wish that we would be teaching them how to love because there's people that's running on hate. I hate what I see, but we got to put the ice away. But I'm really cold. I'm an alpha though. And I hope that you vote for me February 17th. Savant Moore, I'm so grateful for you. It's just a freestyle. You saw it was no beat. So there you
yeah,
go. You saw no beat. I
yep,
freestyle.
off the dome
I
again.
appreciate you.
Yeah, again, really fast. When did you have time to start freestyling, spoken word? When did you have time to do all that while you was being an
Hey, we
alpha
busy. I'm
and going
so
to
busy.
school, being
Yeah.
a veteran? What,
I done had a busy life. One day they're gonna make a movie about us. You gonna be on the movie too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And if it's anytime soon, I want Jennifer Lewis to play me just because even though she's older, I think we have the same vibe. She's a
Okay.
cool person. But yeah, I love music.
I'm
I
gonna
love
have Lance Gross, who I went to college with.
ooh.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the HBCUs. Shout out to D9. I'm not D9, but I
It's
aspire.
never too late.
Yeah,
Grads out there.
I know that they got rules, so I'm not gonna say nothing. But one day. Also, alphas. I see you. I see you. I know a lot of alphas. I just know a lot of alphas. A lot of alphas and a lot of Qs. A lot of
Okay.
Qs. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go because it's only like 5 minutes left before, I know you got some stuff to do, and I want you to get your mind right for the students.
Right.
You have a good rest of your day. This has been enlightening. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Me too.
I need to get
I'm
this. I need
excited.
to
The
start
blue
editing.
wave is coming. People
Yeah.
finna vote. So I'm
Once
excited.
I'm very much pushing the fact that people don't realize until they realize that Republicans are not doing anything for us in Texas. Even people like the Republicans who don't want immigrants here, which something I don't agree with. But when you think about it, we've been talking about the same. They've been talking about the same issue with immigration for over the whole time I've been here. And it's like, why do you keep electing people who aren't doing the thing that you want them to do in the first place? Even though it's wrong, they're still not doing it. Like, you got to use your mind. And then they're voting against you and they're making stuff happen against you every single time you turn around. They don't want you to have health care. They don't want you to go to school. They don't want you to make more money when I talked about it before, food prices have gone up 500% in a
Right.
year. 500%. That is an unheard of amount of. You can't even buy bread really with 1 hour of work in Texas. So that's
Right.
I think it's like you need $17 an hour. I calculated 17.74 an hour to make it to have three meals a day in Texas. So thank you so much. I got work to
Make
do because
make sure people go to savantmore.com to learn more about me too.
yes, because we all deserve more. I
Yes,
like
we
that. I
do.
like that slogan.
We do.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. Go teach the children. All right, you have a good rest of your day, and I'm gonna send you the links to everything. Okay.
All right. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
You
Peace.
as well. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Yeah.